So you got your brand new mortar and pestle. A lot of people don't know we need to season these things before we use them. You wouldn't believe what you're getting in your food without seasoning and conditioning your mortar and pestle. So let's get started and see what we need to do for this process. Simple, easy, and makes your food taste way better. So you're new to the mortar and pestle. We have to do a few things with these before you use it. Before you start doing your herbs or spices or any of that. You can tell these are really rough. Same way with the bowl or with the mortar. You can look down in there. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's really deep gouges from where they ground this out. Those are going to actually come off in whatever you're trying to grind up in there. We have to get some of that out of there before we actually start using this. So let me show you an easy way to get this out. A couple of processes. We'll take water, pour a little water inside. Doesn't take much. And now what we'll do is just work this. This is going to take some time, but it's going to smooth out all of those rough edges and cracks and crannies where everything is going to get hung in there. And we're just going to work the edges, and just the more you work it, you're going to end up with almost a paste inside of here. There's going to be so much material come off of these sidewalls. You can already tell it's turning really gray substance. A lot of people don't know, but these, when they come from the factory, they're not ready to use. They need to be seasoned and conditioned before use. You don't want this stuff getting in your food. I'm going to keep working at this, and I'll be back as soon as we're ready for the next step. Okay. I've been doing this for about 30 minutes. I did change out the water once. You can tell it gets kind of thick, gritty. But I think I'm done with this process. We'll move on to the next. Look at that. You do not want that in your food. This is why we're doing this. Okay. Now this is much smoother. Of course, there's a little bit of grit in here that we need to rinse out. Never use soap on your mortar. Never put it in the dishwasher, nothing like that. This is like, in a sense, kind of like your cast iron pan. It's going to take on flavors in this. They're going to embed themselves into this granite. So you don't want soap in your food. Let me rinse this out real quick and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, now I've got it rinsed, kind of dried it out a little. I can feel down in here it's much smoother than what it was. It doesn't have all the tooling marks and stuff from when it was made. Now you don't want it polished like the outside is, you know. You just want a matte finish, but you want it to be smooth. You don't want rough edges, because them rough edges will break down and get into your food. So here's the next step. We'll take a little bit of rice and add in the bottom. And we're going to do the same thing like we done with the water. just start working it. Of course, you got to use your hand to stop it from coming out. And just work it all over, around the edges, the sidewalls, the center. Just work it everywhere. And I'll go ahead and do this and come back and let you see what's going on. Okay. I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up, but this has got gray in it. This rice flour that we just ground up has gray in it, so that's telling me that I'm still getting a little bit of the mortar into that. So what I'm going to do is dump that out, and you can see the gray in it. Looks kind of like sand, more sandy than rice. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do another thing of rice here. Now, I've seen online people will do the water step on conditioning and they don't do the rice, or they do the rice and not the water. This is a two-step process. Both of these have to be done. You have to do the water and then the rice. That's the correct way to do it anyways. Alright, let me get this started and we will move on to the next step. Alright, I think this looks a lot better now. Doesn't have all the gray in the rice flour. It's good and white. You can even tell the difference in them as they go in there. One is white, one is gray. Much smoother. What we'll do is rinse this out, dry it off. Alright, there we have it. We have a much smoother and ready to use mortar. With a little bit of rice and a little bit of water. Now, these two mortars I've got on Amazon, and I've got a link below if you're interested in getting a mortar and pestle. I'm going to be bringing on to the channel some wild edibles that I'll be doing in here, working on some herbs and spices, all from wild, and some grown. Everything completely fresh though. I'll be bringing that to the channel soon. But I figured I'd show that. A lot of people think that you could just buy them and go to work. It doesn't work like that. You do have to season and condition, cure, or whatever you want to call it. Just do the water first, then the rice. And never put dishwashing liquid or put these in the dishwasher. Rinse them by hand, dry them with towel, and treat it like a kind of like a cast iron skillet or something like that, you know. A good seasoned coffee mug. I don't wash my coffee mug with soap and water. I can taste the soap in that. So I just do a hot rinse and dry. But I hope this helps. Hope this gets some people set up with their new mortar. And until next time, remember, it's not what you can spend or how much you can spend. It's about the memories you make. Pow!